Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Micro Investor, where we do technical analysis and price predictions on many different cryptocurrencies every single day. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and picking up where we left off in the previous Bitcoin video. Now, we are seeing some price movements right now with Bitcoin, so that's great to see. Now, you can see this trend line with Bitcoin that we were in since we were down from our all-time high that we had back in November of 2021. So we came down those five waves to the downside. We possibly just completed that fifth wave to the downside. Let me actually make some adjustments here because the last couple days we've been seeing the price of Bitcoin actually coming up from just after the most recent 52-week low. So the most recent 52-week low is at a price of $15,460. And that is lower than the previous 52-week low that we had back on November 9th. And obviously that's below the other previous 52-week low that we had back in the middle of June. So now that we had actually retested a bottom here, there's that great possibility that this whole situation that's been going on with FTX, looking at it from basically the 5th of November on into now, there's that possibility that now we're possibly within that recovery phase with Bitcoin. The fallout has taken its place. It's all had its reaction, and now there's that possibility that we could be now completing the correction with it and working our way back up. So we'll have to see how things do play out here. This is very important. A great possibility that this could be that current situation in the works. And if that is, then there is a good possibility that we can just start going back and retracing, everything that we've come down. So that would be nice to see within this next wave that we go up to, being able to see the price of Bitcoin smashing through a price that would be around the price of $25,000, which would be where that wave 4 was as we were coming down. So if that's the case, then we might have a really nice recovery in the works here, especially if we were looking at how things played out within this wave 4, as when we had come down from this wave 3, which was a drastic drop within Bitcoin's price back in starting from the second quarter of 2022 on into June. What we were seeing was the price of Bitcoin went from a price that was around $46,000, and then it had reached a price that was around $17,000, around there, and then we had seen it quickly go up from that $17,000 price up to that $25,000 price. So if we're going to be able to start retracing this stuff, then there's a possibility that as we now have a new price movement that hopefully is going to have 5 waves leading upwards, then if we were to see that first wave go and actually surpass that fourth wave, or at least reach that same price as that fourth wave, that would be awesome. So obviously this is going to be something that's going to take a little bit of time. We probably won't be seeing this complete until possibly January or February, but I hope that that's the current situation. I hope that we're going to start seeing this take place here. I was thinking that we might be seeing the price of Bitcoin going a little bit lower, but hey, if Bitcoin's bottom was $15,460, then that's fine with me. And we'll have to see how these next price movements do play out. It'd be nice to see if we can see a pretty quick recovery from this most recent price drop, the whole drama that has led out with FTX. So if we were to go back and retrace Bitcoin and go above $21,000 to at least go back to where we were before the FTX fallout, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for that we see over these next couple weeks here. So this is what I'm going to do. Since I think that we might be seeing the price of Bitcoin going up, I'm going to go ahead and make this pretty wild Bitcoin prediction. And I think that we're going to be seeing the price of Bitcoin possibly going to that price between $20,000 and $21,000 here by the second week of December. So I'm pretty hopeful that we're going to see this play out. Even if we were to come down a little bit here, I think within that range, sometime after the second week of December, I think that this is a possibility that we're going to be seeing this recovery happen. And I'm just basing this off of the stock market and the overall recovery that we could be seeing. I would expect that we would be seeing a pretty swift recovery with Bitcoin if we do have a bottom that's currently in. No guarantees that there is a bottom in, obviously, but I'm thinking that if the bottom is in, then we could be reaching a price for Bitcoin in the range of $20,000 within these next 2 weeks, or or possibly sooner than that. That would be great too. But I would expect that there would be some sort of recovery here that would start to happen here in the short term as Bitcoin goes back and tries to go back to that $20,000 price. Now, I know a lot of people probably will disagree with me for having such a bullish opinion, thinking that we might be able to see a pretty quick recovery, seeing Bitcoin go back to a price that could be above $20,000 over these next couple weeks. And the big reason why I think that we will be able to see this recovery much faster than people probably think we will, one of that is due to the fact that a lot of the market direction that Bitcoin was headed before the FTX situation happened was that Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the cryptocurrencies, they were all moving upwards. If you guys remember that, all the cryptocurrencies were in the process of moving upwards. Bitcoin had broken out of this wedge here, and so did Ethereum. We had seen that. And so as we have now seen a completion within 5 waves with the price of Bitcoin here, well, then there's that possibility, if that is in fact complete, then the next moves will be to the upside. So we have this pattern coming down. Well, then the next patterns, of course, they will be upside patterns. And I also think that since we were within this wedge for a long time, now as we move away from this wedge, I think that we're going to have this whole new pattern in the works. And then from here, we're going to start seeing these new sets of waves, and they're going to do a lot of retracement within the price. Now, obviously, to see a completion within this first wave, this could be well into the first month or first 2 months of 2023. But you guys get the idea here. If we're not going to keep the bearish opinion that Bitcoin's just going to continue going down to zero, and that at some point the market conditions are going to turn around, which I think they will, then for me personally, and obviously this is my opinion, I think that this would be the direction that we would be heading. And I think that seeing the price of Bitcoin reaching that, at least that $20,000 price within the next couple weeks, next 2-3 weeks, is something that could be a good possibility. And that's due to the fact that we are now out of this wedge. One thing, that's a big thing. And this has been something that Bitcoin that has, kept the price of Bitcoin down. Bitcoin had just been consolidating within this, and the price was never able to break out of here. And then now, since we are on the outside of this wedge, and still, even after we had an attempt to take us back in it, Bitcoin started trading sideways again. And so if we're consolidating right now within this, and now we're moving to the upside here, then I think that this would happen much faster than people think if that was in fact the bottom there. And I get it. I understand that it could take a long time to really see a big recovery with Bitcoin. And that's why I'm thinking that this first wave itself, we're looking at months here for it to complete. 2, 3, 4 months for it to complete. And then obviously we're going to be coming down again within that wave too. So it's all putting us out there for a while. But if we are to start to see things turn around here with crypto, then we have to understand that a falling wedge pattern is a bullish pattern. So at some point, we will go back and retrace from where we were if the opinion of crypto is not completely destroyed with everything that has happened here recently. So if that's where things could be headed, then we could be seeing this take place in that way. 5 waves to upside that would take Bitcoin back to its all-time high. But the other thing here is that as we go into 2023, well, what's next? 2024, we have the halving of Bitcoin. And so when we look at the way things have played out, when we look at Bitcoin back in May of 2020, when it had a halving, right? Well, what eventually followed after that halving? The price of Bitcoin went up. What happened after the halving in July of 2016? There was a halving, right? And then the price quickly went up, and it actually went up to a price that was above where it's at currently right now. If you were to look at this, the price of Bitcoin then had gone up to close to $20,000, and that was a price back in 2017. So we had the halving in 2016, then the price for Bitcoin in 2017, had gone to a price that was above the price that we're currently at right now. We had the halving in 2020, price of Bitcoin then skyrocketed from there. And we have one of those to look forward to in 2024. So we have a market condition to be hopeful of. And at some point, I think as we start to retrace this top level here, we might not get there soon. Might not get to the all-time high of Bitcoin even in 2023, but at some point we're going to see that retracement. So if the next price movements to retrace this whole downfall with Bitcoin that we just had, the next price movements that we get, I mean, they could take a bit of time before we really start to see a rally take place. But at some point, if you're bullish on Bitcoin, you think that Bitcoin's price could go to 100,000, it could go to 200,000. I mean, whatever you're thinking, then at some point, things are going to play out that way. Now, myself personally, in the long run, I am bullish on Bitcoin. I think that this is something that could happen. May not happen in 2023, but I think that at some point we will be retracing this. And so, if I look at Bitcoin right now at $16,000, and that's just like buying Bitcoin back in 2020. I'm rambling a lot here. Sorry. Anyways, that's my opinion about Bitcoin right now. I'd like to hear what you guys think. What are your thoughts, opinions? Where do you guys think that Bitcoin's going to be going here? Do you guys think that we could be seeing a pretty quick recovery with Bitcoin, at least taking us back to that price of $20,000 by within these next couple of weeks? I'd like to know. So that being said, please like, share, comment, subscribe, new content coming out all the time. I talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum every single day and many other altcoins as well. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next one, and happy Thanksgiving.